Hi, Chris at Trimble Forensics Tech Tip Tuesdays, and this week we're going to do something a little bit different. Now, if you didn't see last week's episode, we worked in Trimble Forensics Reveal and Crash Math to animate a vehicle vault. Now, we received a comment on the video from Scott K, who said, "Very nice walkthrough with calculations. Call me OCD, but would like to see those tire marks appear with the skids as they occur." Scott, thank you for the comment, and I wouldn't call you OCD at all, just detail-oriented, and you are in good company. I like the way you think. So this week, I'm deviating from the schedule, and we're going to cover that. Ready? Let's go. So we have Reveal opened up, and we have our vehicle that goes airborne, or at least vaults up and over, and then lands on the far side of the median crossover. However, what we want to do is we want to animate these skid marks to appear when the vehicle actually drives over them, rather than being in the scene before the vehicle gets there, and then the vehicle just rolls over the top. So that's what we're going to do. So what we'll do is we will zoom in here to our tire marks. Now I've just got those in a layer called tire print 1, 2, 3, and 4. And if I click on the tire print, the option that we want isn't here. And there's an option that's called is animated. For that to be in effect, we have to change this over from a tire print to a skid mark. Even if the vehicle isn't actually skidding, we want to convert it over to a skid mark. So I'm going to select my tire print number 1 in my actions. I'm going to convert to. And I'm going to scroll down here. About midway down, you're going to see something called skid mark. So I'm going to convert it. And that gives me a black tire mark here. And as I scroll down just a little bit, you'll notice that in the skid mark properties, we have the start time, initial speed, final speed, and for these segments, start speed and end speed. So we're going to animate this. And it's going to give us a start time. Now, since our vehicle starts here at 0 time, we're going to say it starts at 0. Our initial speed for this crash is 117.5 miles an hour. We got that from last week's episode by using Crash Math to determine our vault. And now when I click play, our tire mark appears as the vehicle is driving over it. Now, if I input the incorrect speed, let me click on it here. If I input the incorrect speed, so if I say it's 110 miles an hour, when I click play, it isn't quite obvious enough. Maybe I'll drop it down to about 80 miles an hour. And when I click play, you notice that the mark moves along at 80 miles an hour. But that doesn't match up with what we actually had. So we need to bump this back to 117.5. And click play. Now, if the vehicle was decelerating over this period of time, what you would do is you would select your mark. For your initial speed, you would put the speed of the vehicle when it starts on the mark. And then final speed would be at the end point. And then it would provide that deceleration during that time. But for this one, it's a straight through. So what I'm going to do is select my next tire mark. And in my actions, I'm going to convert to, scroll down, convert to a skid mark. I'm going to tell Reveal that this is animated. Start time is 0. And our starting and end velocities are 117.5. When I click play, we now have both tire marks that appear with the vehicle driving off the crossover. So now that we have those done, let's skip over to the other side here, and we will work on our landing marks. So we have our landing marks here. Slow my navigation down if I need to move. And you notice those don't appear at time 0. They appear at another time in our timeline. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on our animation timeline down here in the bottom. Those of you that missed it, I'm going to click on animation timeline, and this will bring up our timeline. And this will allow us to advance our timeline to the point when the vehicle lands, which should be right here. And over on the left side, we have 1.85 seconds. So what I'm going to do is take this mark, and in my actions, I am going to convert it to a skid mark. And I'll scroll down, tell Reveal that it is animated. I'm going to leave my time as 0, and I'll just show you what this looks like. Now when I click play, it creates the mark when it starts at 0. And that is not correct. So what we'll do is we'll stop our animation, we'll click on our mark again, and we need to tell it that it starts at 1.85 seconds. Now when we click play, we'll see that tire mark being made. Right when the vehicle hits it. Now this mark extends beyond the vehicle. So of course that's not quite correct. We would need to shorten that tire mark up just a bit in order for it to fall in line with the vehicle. So let's do that. We'll move it over to about here. And we'll shorten that tire mark up. Now when I click play, get it from another view. That looks good, so let's do it with our other mark. Now, some people have asked, can we do a bulk convert? Meaning, can we select multiple lines and do a conversion to skid mark and then apply the timings and all those things for multiple marks? Now, you can do a multiple mark conversion. However, in each one, you have to go through the properties. You have to tell it that it is animated. Your start time and your beginning and ending speeds. And this mark kind of does the same thing where it extends past the tire. So I'll hit stop. Move my timeline forward just a bit. It doesn't look like that mark took. Let me take a look. Back just a touch. And now when we click play, still not quite there. We need to make a couple small adjustments to it. And I found this is easier to do in a top-down view just because we can grab our tire mark and make it go where we need it to. So I'll turn on my wireframe. Put my vehicle where it needs to be, which needs to be right about there. Turn my wireframe off, and now when I click play, it does exactly what we needed to do. Scott, hopefully that covers what you wanted to see. Now, if you have any questions or feedback for us, please leave it in the comment section below. And as always, be sure to subscribe if you want to see more tech tips. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you all next week.